Good evening and welcome to the Whisky Lover Society with me, Gert Retief. And tonight we are on part 2 of a 3-part series on the Talisker Whisky. The core range basically. We started off with the Talisker Sky. Tonight we will be looking at the Talisker Storm. And the last one in the series will be the Talisker 10-year-old. And I must say I enjoy the first one. So as per the previous episode, I did go the cheap route and I just bought the samples. This is the Talisker Storm, quite similar in color as the Talisker Sky. With a little bit of information. So this is also a single malt. No age statement on it, but it is a blend with different ages, different barrels from the same distillery. Still a single malt, and that is the result. Unfortunately, there is color added. Again, I don't understand why they did it. And the cost is around 35 to up to 50 euro, depending on where you buy it here in Europe, which is a little bit crazy with the differences in price. So if you are shopping around for whiskey, make sure that you do your homework. There is some bargains to be had. It is chill filtered. And it's bottled at 45.8% ABV, and that is about the information that I'm going to give you. If you watch the first video, you'll get a little bit more information, but I don't want to make the video too long. So a quick nose, taste, a score, and maybe add a little bit of water this time. It is quite high on the alcohol level. So color-wise, quite similar to the Sky. But of course, the color doesn't really matter on this one because they do add color to it for some other reason. So on the nose, cheers. Again, for me, the strangest thing is that Talisker is for me one of the smoky ones. And for some reason, I'm not getting the smoke. I get a lot of sweetness to it, honey sweetness. I get sugar. I get caramel, toffee. I get a little bit of a creamy note, something like Bailey's type of creamy note. I also get a hint of a ripe banana in it. Now I get a little bit of the smoke, but it's not much. More lightly smoked ham or maybe lightly smoked bacon, but it's very faint. Also maybe like a mackerel, when you smoke a mackerel, a fish, something similar to that. So it's not a deep dark smoke, it's a nice light savory smoke, quite pleasant on the nose. Also maybe a little bit like a sugar coated almonds. So it is sweet on the nose, and I'm a bit surprised with that. My memory takes me back to the 10-year-old, and the 10-year-old for me many years ago was way too smoky. I think I'm getting so used to the smoke that I don't get it anymore. Maybe I need to work myself up to the octomores to get the smoke. Milk chocolate, again, quite sweet, and maybe a little bit of the chocolates, raisins, chocolate covered raisins, something similar to that. So very pleasant on the nose. So on the taste, cheers. Sweetness, loads and loads of sweetness. Now I get a little bit of the smoke. And it is a savory smoke. It is not an iodine smoke with the hospital type of notes in it. So a light smoke, ham, bacon, maple syrup covered bacon, glazed bacons. Now I also on the nose, I do get a little bit of the smoke coming through. This was kind of strange that I didn't get it before, but now after the first taste, I do get a hint of the smoke. Also vanilla, it is refurbished ex-bourbon casks that they are using. So like the Sky, I do get quite a lot of the vanilla notes coming through as well. Caramel, definitely. Vanilla notes are there. And a little bit of a toffee note. And still sweet. And in this one, a lot less oak than I did find in the Sky. The Sky, it was on the third, fourth sip, there was a little bit more oak building up. On this one, it's a dry mouthfeel, but there's definitely not a lot of oak in it. And it's quite a surprise for me. Now I get a little bit of a peppery note coming out. And I think that is the cask influence. So there is now a little bit of a tannin coming through, the little bit of the wood influence. But it is so subtle and so nice. And in the finish, you get a little bit of the smoke. That when you've had some nice lightly smoked bacon, that same aftertaste that you get in this one. So quite another surprise, quite happy that I bought it. This is now 2 for 2 that I am enjoying. I'm now quite looking forward to number 3, the 10-year-old. So I'm not going to compare the two now, the Sky and the Storm. I was very tempted to pour the Storm and the Sky together and to give it a nose to see if there's any similarities. What's the difference between the two of them? But I'm going to leave that for the next episode or the next series where I'm going to compare all 3 of them and to see if there is actually a difference, especially between the Sky and the Storm. What is the difference between the two of them and what makes it different? And I'm going to do a little bit of digging on that. So this one, I do like it. And score-wise, I'm already giving it a little bit higher than the Sky. But I'm not going to tell you how much higher or if it's even a big margin, because that's going to spoil the whole thing. But I can tell you that I do love it. And of course, now I get a little bit of cinnamon. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water. This is half a teaspoon of water. Just to see what the influence is going to be on the water, on the whiskey. I know from experience, sometimes it elevates the levels of sweetness. And if there's oak, brings it down, but there's not a lot of oak in this one. So on the nose with a little bit of water, a little bit of an apple note coming out now. Definitely is a hint of cinnamon. And a little bit of the vanilla notes is definitely coming out a little bit more. And it's a little bit more sweeter on the nose. Really, really nice, this one. So on the taste, sweeter on the taste, less of the bacon notes, but I do get a little bit of more of a smokiness on the taste now. Not much, but more like a campfire that has died out, that type of smoke that I'm getting through it. Really nice. So, fantastic one. I can't wait for the 10-year-old. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I see you next time. Cheers.